The Astros are AL West champs again for the 5th time in 6 years. Justin Verlander is quite amused. He is glad to be part of the celebration. And Hunter Brown, oh my gosh, this guy can be quite a weapon in the Astros bullpen in the playoffs. And Luis Garcia, he pitched pretty well. So we got a lot to discuss on this playoff clinching edition of the Locked On Astros podcast.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. Brett, where can I find you at?
They can find me at H-Town Wheelhouse on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you get your podcast. You can follow me at Stros411 on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Always positive. I love Hunter Brown and the bullpen. Always Stros.
All right. Thank you for making us your first listen every day on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to us, the Astros are going to the playoffs. We're going to be doing podcasts after every game. Why don't you go and subscribe to us on YouTube? We do go live and you can set to be notified. So you don't have to rely on Twitter or Facebook or anything like that. You can get notified when we go live after every playoff game. And we're going to be talking about that. And go ahead and subscribe to us. Give us a like while you're there. And go ahead and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify on your way to work or anything like that. So, guys, this was a great game. I know the Astros needed one victory or a Mariners loss in today's game, but the Mariners ended up winning today. They beat the Angels, and unfortunately, the Angels for the 8th straight year are out of the playoffs. And I'm sorry, Mike Trout. Your career is being wasted with the Angels.
That's so sad. I shouldn't laugh. Hey, you know what? Hey, I don't feel sorry for the guy, Eric. He signed. He knew what he was getting into.
Yeah, so definitely he did, and I don't know if the Angels will ever be back, but the Astros for 5th time in 6 years, they are back. They've won AL West, and even in that year that they didn't win AL West, that was a weird 2020 season, the COVID shortened season where they barely squeaked in with a losing record, but they still made it to the ALCS that season. So the Astros are where they're supposed to be. They're not slowing down. You can't stop them. I think they kept on saying on the broadcast that they're the train. The Astros train is keep on going, and that's what they're doing. And Hunter Brown is another example of, yes, you don't have a lot of the big name prospects that people across baseball are talking about, but Hunter Brown is one of those guys that just comes up and like, oh, wow, the Astros have another arm. This is another guy that's going to help the Astros in the playoffs. And yes, that's what's going on here. So this was a great game. And of course, Jose Altuve is going to start off with the leadoff home run because it's a big game. And for a while there, that one run stood up there. But Luis Garcia he struggled with command in first inning. He walked and he struggled a little bit, but to his credit, he settled down and he did walk the first batter in second inning as well. But he pitched 5 shutout innings, only allowed 2 hits. And so overall, it was a great game. And what did Hunter Brown do?
Hunter Brown went in, and I was kind of surprised he didn't finish the game because I really thought they would let him go ahead and do that. But the fact that he goes in there, Eric, and gets 3 strikeouts in 3 innings pitched, only allowed 2 hits and 1 walk on 47 pitches, that's a pretty healthy pitch count for 3 innings. And I know I had kind of popped in a little bit on your live reaction show, and I was thinking, oh, well, maybe they'll throw him a little bit tomorrow and a little bit the third game. I still think there's a possibility that he may go the third game in 1 inning. If not, we'll see. But Hector Neris came in. Dude, I mean, this bullpen, Eric, Hector Neris came in, 2 strikeouts. This is a team. Now, they scored 4 runs. That's not exactly, breaking the bank when it comes to runs. But when they average less than 3 runs a game at the Trop, and they've only won like 3 or 4 games in the last 20 or so, I mean, they have a really poor record at Tropicana Field.
Mm-hmm.
And what was awesome was it was like an Astros home game, because I think the Astros fans outnumbered the Rays fans. And there was a question that I believe is Ulysses or Kevin asked from Locked On Rays. They said, do you think the Rays should open up their upper deck? And I was like, yeah, if they want more Astros fans to attend, because they just they don't have great attendance. But today, Jose Altuve, again, 2 for 4. Bregman, 2 for 4. Jordan Alvarez got involved. We need to talk about that. A scary moment sliding into second today made everybody cringe and say, oh no, I hope this isn't what I think it is. But an overall great game, Eric. I mean, with a team that, only produced 6 hits, they had 4 runs. The Rays had 5 hits, and they got shut out. So this is a good game. This is a good win. This is a quality Rays team. This is a Rays team that is scrappy, and they are winners. So they're to be respected. And for the Astros to come in and do what they did today was phenomenal.
Yes, I did close the window. Hold on. So our Campa 81 said that his wife and kids all went to support our Astros at the Trop. It was packed with Astros fans cheering on the best team in baseball, AL West champions, Go Stros. Yeah, so you had him out there. You had lots of people out there. And I don't know if you mentioned this, but they tried to do a "Let's Go Astros" chant. And then you had the few Rays fans out there saying "boo, boo" and trying to drown them out. And it was just glorious. Like I said in the live reaction or instant reaction, whatever I called it. I think that was they were trying to make that Minute Maid Park 3.0 in that situation, just because Astros fans took over that ballpark. And that was something I think helped the Astros because, like you said, they've struggled at Tropicana Field in the past, and they seem to feel right at home. Maybe it was all the orange jerseys and the stands. Maybe it was just because they knew that I think it was Matt Thomas on Sports Talk 790 throughout September 19th was the day the Astros would be clinching. And he did that like months ago. And
wow, there you go. I love it. Good job, Sports MT. One of the things, Eric, after Altuve's leadoff home run, our friend Daniel, he goes by the Astros Locker on Twitter. And I had forgotten about this. Jose Altuve will enter the playoffs this year with 23 postseason home runs. He only trails Manny Ramirez, who has 29 all time. Okay. Here's the thing. Altuve has reached this number in 130 fewer plate appearances. There's a real chance that if Altuve gets a few home runs here and there in the first round, second round, and even the World Series, Eric, that he could break Manny Ramirez's record this postseason. I mean, you want to talk about this team with a veteran presence, Eric. Think about this. Mike Stanton even echoed something that was said on the podcast the other day. Ben DeBose, remember when he was on the other day, you went to your awesome 21 Pilots concert.
Yeah.
Ben DeBose joined me and he added me and he said, hey, Mike Stanton just made the exact point we were discussing a few days ago. The presence of Hunter Brown on the postseason roster likely allows you to start Javier. Can you imagine Christian Javier and then Hunter Brown? Like, that should be illegal. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it too much. Maybe they'll make an anti-Hunter Brown rule because this is scary for the league.
Yeah, and I know that if you're Hunter Brown, you're new to the league, and not a lot of people know about you yet. So definitely, what he did today is something that you can add to your LinkedIn profile and say, "Hey, look what I did in a big game." You can add.
Yes, that's right. And these days, there are new potential hiring, and you can feel like it's high stakes wager for your small business, but you want to be 100% that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. Then add your job and the purple hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. They just got through finishing the year strong. And you know what? The Astros, on their finish strong for this season going into the playoffs, it makes me think of these small businesses who want to finish your fiscal year strong. So go to LinkedIn Jobs. It will help you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonmlb. That's linkedin.com/lockedonmlb to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Alrighty, so the playoffs are coming, and if you don't get lucky enough to get the seats directly from the Astros, where would be a good place to get your seats from?
Man, I'm glad you asked because Simple Seats is the only place that I go to get my tickets. I don't go to other, places where they're going to charge you 20% in fees and throw a bunch of extra stuff in there. Simple Seats makes it simple. They have an easy to use website. The website is simplistic. It helps you see the pictures from your seat. You can also, if you don't want to worry about specific seats, they have zone seat pricing, which means you pick a zone. It gives you a discount on top of the already great price, and then you select that. It's amazing. And I would choose this if I was going to an Astros, Texans, Dynamo, A&M, UT, or U of H game. They've got more teams on the way. Why wouldn't you want to go local and get to that game? And not just that game, more games. You have more money in your pocket when you use Simple Seats because you don't have those extra annoying fees. So when you go to Simple Seats, you need to use the code LOCKEDON10. That's a LOCKEDON10 to save $10 on your first purchase of $50 or more. Simple Seats is locally owned, and they are serving you for all your favorite teams, your postseason moments. And hey, who knows? Maybe the Texans actually win a game and don't tie. But if you can do that on the cheap with Simple Seats, better prices, no fees. It's that simple.
Are we trying to mislead our fans here, our listeners, about the Texans actually winning here?
Well, I'm just saying,
I'm
like
kidding. I'm kidding.
maybe, yeah. Well, I'm saying if you go on the cheap, maybe they'll play a game and not tie or lose. Maybe they'll actually win. It'll make it even more worth it. And if not, you didn't break the bank going. So they are 1-1, like Chris says. Kind
Right.
of funny. I'm sorry. We got to give them a little bit of love.
All right, but speaking of Simple Seats, I am going this weekend to see Steve Torino. He's a famous comedian, and with my girlfriend, so I'm super excited about that. And I got those seats from Simple Seats, and so
Nice.
it's not just about sports; they do other events too. And so let's go ahead and get back to this game. This game was definitely a game that the Astros definitely had under control pretty much the whole time. I know you kind of touched on it. Alvarez had that RBI double, and or I think actually it was a single, but he kind of stretched it out on a miscue. And so what happened was he kind of stopped after first base, and then I think the Rays kind of dropped the ball, or they were kind of throwing it all over the place or something. And so what happened was he saw that there's that he could get to second base at the last minute. So he was like halfway between first and second. And so, he's a big guy. And so he was just like, and threw his whole body over there and like slammed his knee into second base. And so he kind of popped up and kind of like hit his knee on second base. And so that's what happened. And he kind of sat there for a little bit. He looked a little bit uncomfortable. And then he kind of got up and was like, and so that's what everybody was a little bit alarmed about. But then he got up when the trainer went out and Dusty Baker went out, and he's smiling a little bit. So everything was okay. And then Alex Bregman had the 2-run double right after that. So everything's fine. Alvarez was having fun out there, but when he's just hitting the way he's doing, the Astros are going to keep on winning.
Yeah, because he just got through being awarded AL Player of the Week, hitting 500 or something on the week, hitting multiple home runs, 3 home run game. Yeah, and I was listening to the broadcast at the time, and it said when he slid in, he overslid, and he basically, like you said, banged his knee on the bag, and that's how I kind of understood it. Thank you for giving me the other details because I wasn't sure. What reassured me listening to the radio and then looking on Twitter was they were like, hey, he's actually smiling and laughing. He's fine. So they were jovial about it. And then Apollo Dez said, he said, the Astros really need to work on some sliding drills before the postseason. And which I don't disagree. But like you said, I think with him stopping and starting, and when you're that big, dude, that's like a train or an F350, like trying to put on the brakes really late. And so thankful that he didn't do anything. But it was great, Eric, for them to have guys on first and second, Jordan to break that game open, Bregman to come through with the double. I think he's fifth this year in doubles in the league. He's hitting doubles. He's getting guys on, or he's getting guys in that are on the base pass. And these are things, Eric, that we talked about that the Astros must get better at and must fix. Because I don't care whether it's the Mariners, the Blue Jays, or the Guardians. If the Guardians move into one of those spots, those are teams that can sneak up on you really quick. And if you don't take opportunity when their pitchers give you the ability to hit the ball,
Right.
you might get behind the 8 ball before you know it. And you don't want to play catch up. You want to be the lead dog.
And just looking at the RBIs, you had Alvarez with 94, Bregman as at 88 right now. Tucker's at 99. There's a possibility that you can have three guys with 100 RBIs on the season. That's impressive for a team that's struggled to score runs all season. To have three guys with 100 RBIs, that's pretty good. And I know that Tucker's one away. I forgot to mention this in yesterday's podcast, but this will, if he does reach that, which I'm assuming he will in the next, 14 games, he'll be the first person since Astros outfielder since Carlos Lee to do it.
Really?
And just think about that with George Springer and all the guys we've had in outfield, nobody's reached 100 RBIs. So,
well, old Springy boy was always had injury issues during the year, and I think that's what, as much as we miss George Springer, as much as we love his personality and what he brought in the postseason, just what he brings as a player, like who doesn't want him on your team, was that always kind of seemed to plague him throughout the year. And I mean, he was an all or nothing player. So players like that are going to tend to get hurt a little bit. Yuli Gurriel making some great defensive plays. Jose Altuve making some. I mean, the defense, Eric, behind these pitchers can't go unnoticed either. When you have great pitching, but you also have defense to complement it, it's almost like saying, what's the point of the opponent going up and trying? Because no matter where you hit the ball, no matter what you do, there's always a counterpunch to the attack.
Yeah. So my Abram asks, are the Astros 100% the one seed? No, they are not. They have 7. They have a magic number of 7. So because they won this game, they dropped it from 8 to 7. So now if the Yankees lose, then that will drop. The Yankees did not play tonight, of course, but now it's any combination of Astros wins or losses to drop that number all the way down to 0. So once you drop that magic number down from 7 to 0, then that's when the Astros clinch the best record in the West. Not in the West, in the AL.
The Yankees have the giant killers that they're playing. They're playing the Pirates. The Pirates have manhandled the Cardinals. They manhandled the Dodgers this year. They've beaten the Giants. They're playing the Pirates. The Pirates got nothing to lose. I would love to see the Pirates win the Yankees series. That would be so phenomenal. They're playing the Pirates. It's totally a trap series, Eric. Completely a trap series. And I really hope it goes the Astros way because, like I always say in my house, we root for 2 teams, the Astros and whoever is playing the Yankees.
All right, Chris B asks, what do you think guys think about the new batting order? I'm guessing he means about Pena batting shortstop, and you have Yuli Gurriel. Sorry, not Yuli Gurriel, but you have Alvarez playing left field. Then you have Mancini or Diaz playing DH a lot. I actually like Pena batting second. I think that he's actually hit pretty well there. Yes, he's had some offers, but I think that he feels a lot more comfortable. And for a kid that struggled a lot this year, putting him in front of Alvarez is going to help him get a lot of pitches to hit because nobody's going to want to walk him to put runners on base with Alvarez there. Yuli is, I know he went 0-4 today. Mancini went 0-4 today. Vasquez went 0-4 today. McCormick went 0-4 today, as David keeps on pointing out in the chat. But all the guys
you know what?
went 0-4 today, but that's fine. You still scored enough runs to get the win today.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but come on, guys. Like you can focus on the negative or you can focus on the positive.
Right.
We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on the fact that we don't win many games in the Trop, and we beat them, and not only beat them, we shut them out. Hunter Brown struck out Randy Arozarena with high heat 98 miles an hour. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about a kid that makes it absolutely unfair with a team that has legitimately 7 starting pitchers going into a 5-game series. You have pitchers, Eric, that might not even have to pitch more than 1 game in a single freaking series. I really have a hard time believing that the Astros get taken to a game 5 or a game 7 in any of these series. I'm not saying I'm predicting it, but I'm saying I have a hard time believing that any teams take them that far because of our pitching, period.
Definitely. So, guys, if you cannot make it out to a game during the playoffs, you know what you can do? You can go out to Hooters. Hooters at NASA, they have the best wings, the best brews, and don't forget about the world famous Hooters girls. They go out there and they give you service with a smile. And every time the Astros game is on, you can watch it and you can also listen to it on the big speakers. So they have TVs everywhere because they love the Astros like you love their wings. Brett loves the honey chipotle buffalo with fries. I used to love the teriyaki. Now I love the 3 Mile Islands. It's a little bit spicy. And I kind of like it like that. What's your favorite? So enjoy the world famous wings if you like the original Hooter styles, Daytona Beach, smoked roasted, naked or boneless, and one of 15 plus sauces or 5 dry rubs, along with ice cold beer at Hooters of NASA. Whether you're dining in, ordering online for carryout, or placing a delivery order, the best food in NASA can be found here. The NASA Hooters just had a 45 trip to Astros game, which was a blast. And they plan to do one on October 2nd. Go to Astros game with the Hooters girls. Come enjoy happy hour, or should we say happy hour specials from on Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. So many drink specials. Don't forget about Thursday with drink specials all day. Come hang out where the Locked On Astros boys like to hang out and watch the Astros with great grub and brews. Ask them what their featured beer are on tap and tell them that the boys at the Locked On Astros podcast sent you by, and you'll get a free basket of fried pickles. That's right. That's Brett's favorite. So they're like, hey, if people come in, we'll go ahead and give that and say that that's Brett's favorite. So go check them out. They're I-45 South, exit FM 528 for great wings and the best service from the world famous Hooter Girls.
That's
Did I
right.
call
Yeah,
you out
good
there?
job. No, you did. That's good. I love fried pickles. You maybe are not so much a fan, but that's
Yep.
okay. We can't all like the same things. The world would be boring if we all loved the same things. The world would be really drab and boring too if we all were as negative as Dave. But Dave, hopefully we can turn you to the positive side because the Astros are leading the AL in wins. They have 97 wins, fellas. And the closest team are the lowly New York Yankees with 88 wins. And so get this, Eric, in the National League, the Dodgers are at 101 wins. I don't think we catch them, but I also am not convinced that the Dodgers will make it to the World Series. So if they don't make it to the World Series, that will bode well for the Astros if you want them to have home field advantage in the World Series.
Yes. So right now, looking at the wild card picture, you have the Blue Jays with 83 wins. You have the Rays with 82 and the Mariners with 81. So it's definitely an interesting idea of who the Astros would play. I know we have a different playoff system this year. I know you sent me a picture earlier. So the Astros would definitely play one as of right now, either the Blue Jays or the Rays.
That's
So,
right.
which team would the Astros match up better with, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think, gosh, I don't want to sound like some
Just
homer
off the top of
fan.
your head, on top of your head.
I think they match up better against the Tampa Bay Rays. I think they do. I know we have a harder time, but I think they know what they bring, and I think they know what they can do. The Blue Jays, I don't know. Now I know the Blue Jays, they were able to get to their closer when he had been on some consecutive streak and they were able to get to him and get a win. So I like them against, honestly, I like them against the Mariners. I kind of wish the Mariners would move up and be in our bracket because we would handle them like it wouldn't even be competition. I'm sorry. No offense to Julio Rodriguez and Ty France and those guys and Scott Service, who I can't stand, probably the manager that I love the least. Gosh, I can't stand that guy's face. I want to beat the Mariners. I don't want to face the Guardians just because a team like that just bothers me. The Guardians remind me of what the Rays used to be. And guys, I'm not scared of the Rays. I think we match up better with the Rays. I just don't want to see George Springer hitting home runs in a playoff series at Minute Maid Park or even at bat to get a chance to hit a home run. Maybe our pitchers are so nasty he won't, but there's just something about that Springer Dinger thing I don't want coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to match up with the Guardians unless they somehow become a wild card team. Definitely with the matchup there, but it may be in the ALCS if the Astros reach there for the 6th straight year. So that could be an option, but
Can you imagine if it was, let's
or
say the
7th straight year,
Guardians,
sorry.
that's okay. Let's say the Guardians upset the Mariners. Okay. Well, actually, they're the number 3 seed, so I don't know if it would be an upset on this bracket. And then the Guardians beat the Yankees, and then the Guardians and the Astros are in the ALCS. You remember when we played them
Would
and they
anybody
had
watch
gone
it?
in what I know I would. I don't care about anybody else. Do you remember we played them the year that they had won 20 or 20 something straight games in the regular
Right.
season? And we basically caught them on their heels somehow and beat them. But that might actually be an interesting series, Eric, because they've got some solid pitching. They've got Jose Ramirez, Miles Straw. They've got Quan. They've got some good players. They've got a decent scrappy team over there, a respectable team for sure. Isn't it a shame that the White Sox and the Twins aren't even in there? God,
Yeah, but Craig got
why?
that money. He got that money.
Oh, he
So,
got that 35.1. Good job. You make 100,000 more than another guy that was eliminated earlier. So that's great.
speaking of shortstops making a lot of money, the Mets behind Max Scherzer, they made the playoffs for the first time in a long time. I forgot. I saw the notification earlier, but they made the playoffs for the first time in a while. So congratulations to the Mets. Y'all been waiting for a while to get in the playoffs, and so now you have. And that's the team I'm least excited to face in the World Series if the Astros get to that point. But the Astros are currently with 97 wins. They have won more games than any other American League club since 2017. They are combined 531 and 324. Believe it or not, Texans, they don't have any ties. Imagine that. But definitely they have a 621 winning percentage.
You totally backdoored that point from like 10 minutes ago and brought it back. You're
Yeah.
like, well, I think we lost the lure. I think it's gone. Nope, there we got something on the line still.
Yeah, but definitely the Astros are joining. The Astros will try to reach the ALCS for 6 consecutive seasons. No, I was right earlier. They and the 1971 through 71 Athletics are the only teams to reach 5 consecutive ALCSs. Since 2017, the Astros 73 postseason games and 42 playoff wins are the most in MLB. So the Astros are not a joke. They are not a team. Yeah, you can. We're not going to talk about what happened in 2017, but just everything that's happened, it's legit. The Astros are a legit team. They are a team that you should fear. And a lot of teams in baseball, they fear the Houston Astros. And you know why? The guy that just won the American League Player of the Week. Why? Because he batted 520 with 5 home runs, 10 RBIs, 4 doubles, 10 runs, and an 1836 OPS. He led the AL in home runs, slugging percentage, and runs for the week. So that's Yordan Alvarez. This is after struggling all the month of August with whatever was going on with his hands, or whether it's Alex Cintron saying he wasn't standing up straight in the plate, whatever it was. He is back, And as Alvarez goes, the offense goes. And that's the biggest thing from this past week. Yes, the Astros have clinched. Yes, yes, Justin Verlander's come back. Yes, Hunter Brown is this dominant pitcher. But Alvarez hitting again, being dominant, that's the biggest thing that's happened over the past week.
Yeah, I agree. But I think all the other things are just as important because to win, you have to have great pitching. And Eric, this pitching, what's great about this pitching is it's been consistent. There have been a few hiccups with the bullpen, but I just want to say this, and I'm gonna give you my closing thoughts in the National League. I do not want to face the Braves. I want the Mets and the Astros to be in the World Series. I think we can beat the Mets. We beat them before. I know they didn't have DeGrom or Scherzer, but I still think we can beat them in the playoffs. But the Braves is really the only team in the National League. Even the Dodgers don't worry me. They got four big holes. I talked about that last show. They don't have all their starting pitchers in. They got guys injured. And so the only team that I'm really get this, Ozzy Albies is out again with another injury.
Mm-hmm.
So the Braves are dealing with injury issues again.
But they didn't have Robert Acuna Jr. last year either.
They didn't. But what I'm saying is that team, more than any National League team, is the one that I do not want the Astros to have to face against. Regardless, if we do, Eric, this team is in a way better position this year than they were this year. Mark my words, and than they were in 2019. And I'm done.
Alrighty, so kind of my closing thoughts is what Hector Neris said. He said, "Hey, bro, I'm so happy today. I say thank you, God. Enjoy, guys. Thank you, Houston, for supporting me here. I'll be here for a long time. Championship. Thank you. I love you." So basically, what this guy has played his entire career has not played a single playoff game. In his first season with the Houston Astros, he's going to experience the playoffs for the first time. And I don't know if it was on purpose, but Dusty Baker put him in to close out the game that clinched the playoffs. So I don't know if that was on purpose, but this is just awesome. And Dusty Baker also had Justin Verlander give a speech before the whole celebration. And Justin Verlander said, "We're not done. We still got a lot to do. We got a lot of, this is not the end goal. The end goal is not just to make the playoffs." And so, and Alex Bregman said, "This is the first step in the right direction. This is why we play. We play to win." Everybody knows that this is not cool just to make the playoffs. It's not just to be one and done anymore. Their goal is to get to the World Series. That's why James Click made all these moves. That's why they did everything. And Yuli Gurriel, in perfect English, said, "I'm super excited. We have a good team. We have an amazing clubhouse." So this team is just super special, as Justin Verlander said before Alvarez poured beer all over his back. And Dusty Baker is just like super excited about this team. And he said that the guys can celebrate tonight, but tomorrow it's back to business because the Astros still have got to go ahead and get that best overall record in the AL. Then they got to go ahead and take care of business. But the thing that we got to discuss in a future show, and somebody asked if we're going to do a playoff podcast. Yeah, I think we're going to record one for maybe Saturday as a playoff preview. But we will have, now that we secured the AL West, we will have that week off from the last game till after the wild card series are off. So the Astros are going to have to be super creative to keep their pitchers loose and keep them make sure they're game ready. So this team, I think, is more ready than any other team that we've had in past. Maybe the 2017 Astros, they're ready. I think the 2019 Astros, I think that they had a more complete team overall. But I think the this Astros bullpen is probably the best we've had up and down the lineup. And Hunter Brown being added to this, I know we all want him to be a starter, but Hunter Brown is just, he could be a weapon in this bullpen. So that's
He
just my
will be,
closing
yeah.
thoughts.
Yeah, he will be a weapon in the bullpen. So thank you, man. This is a great show. Thanks for doing the live reaction for us tonight and everybody that showed up for that. Thank you for making Locked On Astros your first listen every single day. We're with you till the end of the season. We have at the end of the series coming up a little joint podcast with the Locked On Rays guys, and so that'll be fun. And so just hey, come hang out with us every night. If you miss a show, listen to us on Apple, Google, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, we're your team every day.
Go Stros.